The Great Hall of Prime had never seen such a gathering. 7 warlords from 7 different star systems sat around a massive stone table. They had fought each other for centuries. Their hatred ran deep like old wounds that never heal. But today, they shared one common enemy. Earth. Grand Warlord stood at the head of the table. His skin was covered with battle scars. His 4 eyes looked at each warlord one by one. He spoke in a deep voice that filled the room. We have watched the humans for 50 cycles. They are weak. They fight among themselves. They have over 200 separate nations, 200 governments, 200 militaries. They cannot even agree on their own planet's weather. He laughed and the others joined him. They call themselves united, but they are broken into pieces like shattered glass. Warlord of the Mantis Collective clicked his sharp mandibles. My scouts report they spend more time arguing with each other than building weapons. Their United Nations is a joke. Countries threaten other countries. They have wars over lines drawn in sand. How are these creatures even alive? Because no one has bothered to destroy them yet, said Lady of the Crimson Nebula. Her voice was cold like space itself. Until now. Nodded. We 7 have killed millions of each other's soldiers. We have burned each other's worlds. But the humans are spreading. They have colonized 3 moons now. In another 100 cycles they will reach our territories. We must crush them before they grow. The warlords agreed. For the first time in recorded history they signed a peace treaty. They combined their fleets, 12,000 warships, 40 million soldiers, the greatest military force the galaxy had ever seen. They called themselves the United Dominion. The irony was lost on them. 3 months later the Armada arrived at the edge of the solar system, stood on his command ship and looked at the blue planet in the distance. Such a small world, such a small species. This would be easy. He opened a communication channel to Earth. Every screen on the planet showed his face. Every radio played his voice. Humans of Earth, I am Grand Warlord. 7 star systems have united against you. Surrender now, become our slaves, or we will turn your planet to ash. You have 1 rotation to decide. He closed the channel and smiled. His advisors told him that humans would panic. They would surrender. How could 200 divided nations stand against 1 united force? But something strange happened. The humans did not panic. They did not surrender. Instead, the 200 nations started talking. Not arguing, talking. Presidents called prime ministers. Dictators called democracies. Old enemies put aside old hatreds. In 12 hours, the humans created something called the Earth Defense Coalition. Every nation contributed. Every military merged into one. Not because they were forced, because they chose to. And then they did something the warlords did not expect. They attacked first. Was eating his evening meal when alarms screamed through his ship. A human fleet had appeared out of nowhere, but it was not one fleet. It was many fleets. Ships from America flew beside ships from Russia. Chinese carriers moved in formation with Indian destroyers. Japanese fighters launched alongside Korean bombers. Impossible, whispered. How did they build so many ships? His tactical officer's voice shook with fear. Sir, they did not build them, they converted them. Cargo ships, cruise liners, mining vessels, everything they had. They armed everything that could fly. The Battle of Neptune's orbit lasted 3 days. The warlords had better technology, better weapons, better training, but the humans had something else. They had competition. Each nation fought to be the best. American pilots tried to outperform Russian pilots. Chinese captains pushed harder because Japanese captains were watching. Indian engineers worked faster because they wanted to prove themselves equal to German engineers. The humans were not fighting as one army. They were fighting as 200 armies competing to save their world, and that competition made them deadly. By the 3rd day, the Dominion had lost 800 ships, was furious. He called the other warlords to a war council. "How is this happening?" he demanded. "They are divided, they should be weak." Warlord shook his head slowly. "I watched their tactics. When one nation's ships fail, they do not retreat. Another nation takes their place. When American ships needed repair, the French covered them. When French ships ran low on missiles, the Brazilians them. They work together, but they also push each other." Lady pulled up battle recordings. "Look at this. This human pilot destroyed 9 of our fighters. He is from a country called Nigeria. After the battle, he was celebrated not just by his nation but by all humans. They made him a hero. Now every pilot wants to be like him. They compete for glory." Slammed his fist on the table. "We will crush this competition. We will destroy their nations one by one." The Dominion chose their target. A small nation called Israel, thought that if they destroyed one nation, the others would lose hope. He was wrong again. When the Dominion fleet approached Israel, every nation on Earth responded. Missiles came from Turkey. Air support came from Saudi Arabia. These were countries that had been enemies for generations, but they flew side by side without hesitation. A human general named Martinez appeared on screen. She was a woman with hair and sharp eyes. "You don't understand us," she said. "We fight each other because we are family. Brothers and sisters argue, they compete. They even hate each other sometimes. But when an outsider threatens the family," she smiled, "the family destroys the outsider." The battle for Israel became a turning point. The Dominion lost 2,000 ships, lost his second command ship. More importantly, they lost the element of fear. Humans were no longer afraid. Over the next 6 months, the war changed completely. The humans did not just defend. They started attacking, not with one strategy but with dozens. The Americans preferred direct assaults, big ships and big guns, overwhelming firepower. The Russians used stealth. Their ships hid in asteroid fields and ambushed Dominion supply lines. The Chinese built drone swarms, thousands of small unmanned craft that attacked in waves. The Indians developed cyber weapons. They hacked Dominion communication systems and turned ships against each other. The Israelis created special forces, small teams that boarded enemy vessels and captured them intact. The Germans engineered new shield technology. The Japanese miniaturized it so every fighter could use it. Realized the terrible truth too late. The humans were divided because division made them strong. Each nation developed different strengths, different ideas, different ways of war. When they combined those differences, they became unpredictable. No single strategy could defeat them because they had no single strategy. The United Dominion had one military doctrine, one way of thinking, one command structure. The warlords had forced their species into uniformity. They had crushed individual thinking long ago. It made them orderly. It made them disciplined. It also made them slow. When the humans attacked Dominion supply stations, they used 5 different tactics simultaneously. Whilst admirals tried to respond, the humans had already changed tactics 3 more times. "They are chaos," said during one desperate meeting. "Beautiful, terrible chaos." By the 8th month, the Dominion was retreating. 3 warlords were dead, their fleets destroyed. The remaining 4 gathered at Prime to make a final decision. Looked at the other warlords. Lady had lost her right arm, had a bandage over 2 of his eyes. They were broken, defeated. "We underestimated them," admitted. "We thought unity was strength. We were wrong. Their divisions created diversity. Their competition created innovation. Their arguments created solutions we never imagined." Lady nodded slowly. "When my people disagree with me, I have them executed. When their people disagree with their leaders, they hold elections. They change leaders like changing clothes. It seemed like weakness, but each new leader brings new ideas." Made a clicking sound that meant sadness in his language. "We have ruled our systems for 10,000 years. Nothing changes because we do not allow change. The humans have existed for only a fraction of that time. but they have evolved faster than any species we have ever seen. Stood and walked to the window. He looked at the stars. Somewhere out there the humans were building new ships, creating new weapons, arguing about the best color for their uniforms. "Send them a message," he said quietly. "Tell them we surrender, tell them we want peace." The other warlords were shocked. Surrender? They had never surrendered to anyone. But was tired, and he had learned a lesson that cost 40 million lives. If we continue this war, they will come for us, and they will not come as one force. They will come as 200 forces, each trying to outperform the other. They will overwhelm us with their creativity, their chaos, their beautiful, terrible chaos. 2 weeks later, human representatives arrived at Prime. There were 12 of them, from 12 different nations. They argued with each other about the peace treaty. They disagreed on almost every point. It took them 3 days to present a unified demand. Watched them with new understanding. He saw now that their arguments were not weakness. They were testing ideas, removing bad ideas, keeping good ones. It was evolution happening in real time. The final treaty was signed. The Dominion would pay reparations. They would share technology. They would open trade routes. As the human representatives prepared to leave, one of them approached. She was young, from a country called Kenya. "You wanted to know why we fight divided," she said. "Let me explain. If one nation fails, the others learn from that failure. If one nation succeeds, the others copy that success. We are 200 experiments running at the same time. We fail faster. We learn faster. We grow faster." Looked at her with new respect. "Your species will rule the galaxy someday." She smiled. "Maybe. Or maybe we will argue too much and destroy ourselves first. That is also possible. We are not perfect, but we are adaptable, and that has kept us alive so far." She walked away to rejoin her fellow humans. They immediately started arguing about dinner plans. Watch them leave. He thought about his own people, his own empire, so orderly, so unified, so slow. Perhaps it was time for some changes. He called his advisors together. For the first time in his life, he asked them to disagree with him. They were confused at first, but slowly they started sharing ideas, different ideas. Some ideas were bad, some were good. But all of them were new. And that was a start. The war taught the galaxy a lesson that day. Unity is powerful, but diversity is unstoppable. The humans understood this truth in their bones. It was written into their history, their cultures, their very souls. They fought divided because division made them strong. And the warlords learned this lesson the hard way.